tells me right now that you're outranking her. You're not moving, she is moving. Okay, so that's the thing that you want to do. I would do limited with the walk, because at the walk is the hardest one to get respect from the horse, and the one where the horse can take most advantage of you as far as turning and facing you and getting you out of position. It's the hardest one to fix, because there you go. Perfect. That's what I want to see. So I just want to see that go up and down. Horses don't like whips because horses generally don't like objects that move. So she's not afraid of the whip, like, you know, you can touch her anywhere with the whip, but an object that moves and objects that make noise, just tap into the natural thing for your horse to move forward. Perfect.
What do you think of Pirelli?
Huh?
What do you think of Pirelli work?
I don't like him.
You don't like it?
Nope, none of it. I think that is like the biggest ripoff in the horse industry.
Oh.
That and the John Lyons guy that does all the Bible things, I hate that too.
So do you think there's really no horse benefit?
I don't like the Pirelli thing. He's just horrible. He's so far out there. And the thing is, he actually knows better, but the thing about a person that graduates from the Pirelli program, it just means that the check cleared. He tells them they can feed treats and they can do this and that, and he puts the music on and they're doing all this stuff, and it's just a big babysitting program. If you just have a backyard horse and you just need something to do and you don't have access to shows or a trainer, I guess it's something to do, but I just find it has no formal training or theories with it. He just wants to say what the people want to hear. So he tells them a lot of stuff that's not right. Yeah, his is the worst program. Now he makes a lot of money.
Yeah, well he gets all these people.
Yeah.
Kind of like a gigantic church. Yeah.
And I actually know a lady that went to one. It's a friend of my friend, a person that I personally don't know, but her friend told me, like, when she went, and she just had such a horrible experience, and it cost her like $3,000 to go. And you know, it was like a week off. She could have spent like half a year with a trainer, you know, and had that benefit. Richard's a judge. You know, he does okay. He's done some 4-H clinics around here and up in Jacksonville. The problem that with Richard, what we had with him was when he would go to the clinics is he would only work with a few of the students that had like the better horses. And some of the other kids in the 4-H that didn't have like the really good horses, he wouldn't do that much with them. But Richard knows stuff.
Always ride a good horse. That's his motto, isn't it?
Yeah, ride a good one. Richard knows stuff. I mean, he is an AQHA judge. So that's like not even in the same class, you know.
I took 3 clinics with him.
You did what? Uh-huh.
It would be like a $200 weekend.
Right.
2 days with him. Or,
yeah. The problem with the clinics is they charge you as much as you could pay for like a month of training, and they don't, in 2 days you can't move up enough to gain the benefit. That's the problem. So even if they give you a lot of the information that you would need, you're not at a point where you could really capture it and grasp it. Good, perfect. See, and she's making the circle and you're standing still. So all I'm looking for is I'm just looking for the horse to go around in a respectful way. Move your whip up and down just a little. There you go. Right. Good. So that whip needs to be pointed just behind her tail at the canter, just when she's like, you know, a little bit lazier. Now I'm not saying if you're at a show and she's like, woohoo, you don't have to keep it there. That's a gas pedal. You have to feel it like a car. Right there you need a little bit. There you go.
at the show she doesn't break down like this.
No, of course not, because she's just a little bit excited or a little bit nervous. So, you know, when you start them at the show, you won't need to keep the whip right at her tail. But that's just like, you know, if you're going up a mountain, you need to put your foot on the gas. If you're going down the mountain, you don't need the gas. So you can't memorize like where the whip goes. You have to feel where the whip goes based on the horse and what the horse is doing. So right now you see the horse is kind of going from 3rd gear, losing a little bit of RPMs and trying to break back to 2nd gear. So that's why the whip needs to move up and down a little bit. If you're at the show and she's revving the engine, she's like, like boom, 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 boom. No, you don't need the gas pedal. There you go. Good. All right, now let's just go ahead and trot her or stop her and turn her around. Either one, ask her to do something. Now when you ask her to trot, you want to make sure that you pull on that line a little bit and, you know, make her do it. Don't let her go from a canter to a trot.
See, for me, I was so used to it. I had it really good though, but I know you said not to do it.
No, because what you're doing is you're allowing her to do it when she feels like you're not asking anymore. So that would be the wrong way to cue her. What you want to do is always be telling her to do something rather than allowing her to do it. You want to be like...
I was quite proud of her transitions off of my voice cue, like you say not to do it.
No.
You know, because she would take it right away.
Yeah.
I would tell her to walk.
Right.
And give her to jog.
And you can use them if you're having trouble, but the problem is if you rely on that, your body language could be so far off and you wouldn't realize it, and you can have like a big conflict, and eventually your horse will not ride well. Eventually you won't be happy with the product that you have.
Okay.
So if you use your body language, for sure we know if you're cueing her or not. If you use your voice, I maybe can cue her, like the lesson horses, I can cue them to trot and canter. Even though kids like way off balance and stuff, I can go canter and make that horse canter. And so that's not the thing that you're trying to obtain. You're trying to obtain a better relationship between you and her, and it's got to be a physical one.
Okay.
It can't be a voice one, because like I told you, your body could actually be so far off, whereas if you do these transitions by pulling on her and by turning her and stuff and she doesn't listen, then you know for sure you're doing something wrong you need to address. If you do it by your voice, she may just stop because she's on voice command, but she could be so far out of the bridle. When you pull back and you say how she stopped, she's sitting down, she stopped, she's holding on to the bit, this tells you what you need to do the next couple times to fix your issue. The voice command will not allow you to do that. It will not allow a proper feedback to you to know whether or not your horse is getting better or getting worse. So the same with the upward transition. If, let's say, this is an easy horse, you can teach her to trot without ever kicking her. We're just going to say trot and she's going to go. Well, then when you move your legs, you know, that tells her to move forward and be submissive. So pretty soon you're going to tell her trot, and it's going to happen. It might not happen for 2 months because she's well trained, but eventually that's going to occur to her that she doesn't really have to go. So you need the physical part of your relationship, because that's your barometer for how your horse is submissive-wise. So if you're in a show and if you're nervous and if you're in trouble, would I use a voice command? I would. You can use it. It's not that you can't use it, it's that I think that you're relying on it as a way to cover up some horsemanship issues. And I think that it's not working for you because your horse is getting a little bit out of tune and, you know, a little bit out of sorts, and you're like, well, she's doing this well and she's doing that well, but she won't do this and this. And I think that you could read this horse better if you drop 95% of your horse. Okay, now stop and turn her around. Now move your whip up and down. Don't move your feet. There you go. Good. And why don't you move your feet to reposition yourself? You need her just to give the ground.
For her to move.
She needs to move, exactly. So I'm not saying I would never move my feet, but try like 95% of the time, you need to move the horse. Now you can shorten your line up a little bit. I see there's a big drape in it. There you go. And you should have your whip where you can easily touch her there. That's going to be 100% for you how you can get a hold of her. Good. So it's the respect issue. Can you make her go around? Yeah, you can have that rope all tangled around and you can say, well, she is making a circle. Well, she is, but it's not the respect that I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to gain more control and a little bit more knowledge about how these big-time show horses work and how you keep these horses submissive and keep them happy, so that you have a better idea of how to make this horse motivated to work for you without being grumpy and grouchy and all ill. Just through knowledge. You have to be a good leader just through knowledge. You know, you can't force them, you can't intimidate them. You know that from teachers in school. There was teachers that just knew the subjects, knew the kids, could motivate them. And then there was those old grouchy ones that wanted to like yell at you and send you to the principal's office and all this. That, you know, all the kids, the second that teacher turned around, they were like trying stuff with them, you know.
Mrs. Demetrius.
They didn't really have control of the class.
Mrs. Demetrius, 2nd grade.
All right, do a little cantering this way. Move your whip. There you go. Good. Perfect. Keep your whip more towards her tail. That's it. Just hold it more there. There. Can you see how that's a gas pedal?
Yep.
Rather than put it down and then smack her and put it down and then smack her, just add a little bit of gas pedal. The more you point it towards,
like that, then?
yeah, the more you point it towards her hock, then the more acceleration that you'll have. Okay, and then go back into it. She doesn't really have to stop. She just has to trot. There you go. Because when you go like that, it's like go, and then you're getting a lot more canter. If you just move your whip up and down rather than try to strike her, it just adds a little speed. Can you see the difference in that? So it's like riding. When you smack her with the whip, it's like a big spur kick, which you do need once in a while, but you don't need it all the time. So if you move your whip up and down, you see that the horse is at a smoother transition. Then you don't have to punish her. That's what I don't want you to do. Let her fail, punish her. Let her fail, punish her. I'd rather have you keep the whip on her and just point it more towards her tail and keep the gas pedal, and then she won't drop out of 3rd gear. You know what I'm saying? Just help her a little bit more. Just like you were riding her. You wouldn't just leave your legs idle and then big kick, you know, and then leave your legs sit there and big kick. I'd be like, Christine, just give her a couple little nudges as you go around the pen. That's, you got to think of lunging as just like riding. There's no difference. Good. Very good. So now our horse is wider. See, before you kind of had the head tossing, the back legs were kicking up too much. Okay, now I see a better lunge. So that's the kind of stuff that we're grading on. Perfect. Okay, now just point it more towards her rather than have it on the ground.
Did my arm get so tired?
It's okay. We're going to strengthen your muscles. You're going to have pretty arms.
It's all from my neck, Janet. I have such a neck problem.
That's the back issue, the neck? Yeah. Go. Well, put it on the ground pointing towards her instead of to the side.
I can't even braid my hair without taking a break because my arm gets...
Okay, what you can do is move your hand up your whip onto the green part. Just move your hand up a little bit on your whip. There you go. Is that better?
Yes.
Good. So sometimes if my arm gets tired, instead of using the end of the whip, I might just move my hand up and hold part way through the whip. Give her a chance to reposition. No. She hasn't got her weight over to the right side yet. And that's hard for you to see. That's okay. Just let her trot.
Like sometimes what I've done when she picks up the wrong lead like this.
Okay, now ask her. She should be better now. Don't yank her head. There you go. Because she has her balance over. It's hard for you to see, but I can see it and know, oh, I should cue now. She'll for sure pick it up. There you go. We're not mad at her. It's not like beat her. She's on the wrong lead.
No.
You just have her out of position. That's all. Good. Perfect. Okay, now you can trot her. There. Good. Very good. And if you don't get it, I mean, you can say trot. It's not that you can't say it. If you cue her once and she's like, ugh, you know, and you were kind of snapping her head there and lunging, so when you did give her the cue, she wasn't sure if we were still cantering and she was a little bit in trouble or she should do the downward. And you can just see that tiny bit of confusion there. And then you gave it to her again, she was like, oh, maybe I should trot. So that was good. And if she wouldn't, I would just say trot. That's what the voice cue's for. It's to reinforce when she's a little bit lost. I don't want her to have to guess too many times what you want to do. It's harder a little bit this way because the chain's under on the opposite side.
Yeah.
But I prefer to lunge her this way just for the respect issue right now, because I'm looking for a certain style in your lunging where we have more control, okay? And that you understand what it is that you're looking for. I'm not looking to see if the horse will go around. Of course the horse will go around. But I'm just looking to see if you can do it just like you were riding with a nice transition. Okay, now go ahead and stop her and make her face you. Pull. Okay, do it again.
I should have pulled first.
Yeah. You move her out again.
To have it.
Move your whip. Just move your whip. You don't have to hit her. You haven't asked her. Like this. Up and down.
Okay.
There you go. We don't need to strike her with the whip because that's like slamming. Remember I told you that's like a big spur kick? Okay, so if you think of it like riding, moving your whip up and down is like you going like this, and tapping her on the butt is like, get going. Okay, you can use both, but you need to use them in the appropriate way. She was standing there behaving herself, and the next thing...
Getting hit by the lunge whip.
Right, that's not fair. Remember I told you?
Fair. It was premature.
It was about the mutiny. Remember I told you need to be a good leader. So you need to be consistent, methodical, which means your method needs to be the same all the time, and it needs to make sense to the horse, which is only like a 3-year-old child. So you say, stand here, honey, whap! The kid's not going to stand there very long. Not that it hurt, it didn't hurt her, but she was like, hey, that's not fair. She knows that. Okay, now try, instead of using the voice command, just pull her.
Yeah.
Give her a big pull and see if you can stop her. There. Perfect. And you can say ho, but you should be able to do it without the word also.
Okay.
What I don't want you to do is just be going around and go ho, like it's a parlor trick. That's okay if you're like, you know, at Universal in the horse thing, and people are like, that horse does things from voice command. A 2-year-old can do everything from a voice command. You do that before you break them. That's a round pen. That doesn't really have anything to do with training.
Okay.
That's nothing. That's just to impress your friends that don't know anything about horses.
You know, I really clarified that for me, because honestly, I thought that's what was the right thing for me to be doing.
Yeah, but it's such a lower level.
Yeah.
It's the thing that you first teach them. You know, when they're weanlings and yearlings and 2-year-olds, it's not at this level. That's what I said. It's just like, how much is 1 + 1? 2. Oh my God. You don't need it. You need to be like, what does this mean? What does that mean? If I move here, if I do this, she needs to...
X equals Y plus square right now.
She needs to read your body language, and she needs to be paying more attention to your body than to your voice. So if somebody else goes by you, and let's say, God forbid, they have the same accent, maybe they're from Canada, and they say, ho, that your horse doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want that in a group class where your horse can just stop or can or whatever.
Is that okay that she walks up to
Yeah,
me?
that's okay. You're done. You can put your line up and you're ready to go. That was respectful. She didn't move into your space.
Yeah.
She was just like being respectful and walking towards you.